Hello my beautiful friends, it's Amanda here, and today we're talking about the very beautiful and very hyped on social media Petal Metal collection from Smashbox in collaboration with Vlada MUA or Vlada Haggerty. The Petal Metal collection is currently available now. I ordered mine from Ulta. You can also find it at Sephora. I ordered 5 pieces from this collection. I got the Cover Shot eyeshadow palette, 2 of the Always On liquid lipsticks, and 2 of the highlighters. There are several other items in this collection that I don't have. I haven't seen, I haven't touched. There's a primer, there's some liquid highlighter drops. There's also an eyeliner and a spray. There are also a couple shades of the Be Legendary liquid lipstick. But today I'm going to give you product info and demos of all the things I picked up from the collection. I want to start with the lip colors. I ordered these 2 Always On matte liquid lipsticks. I got the shade XO Vlada, which is a more coppery color, as well as the shade In Bloom, which is a more rosy, rose gold kind of color. These liquid lipsticks retail for $24 each, and they contain 4 milliliters or 0.13 fluid ounces. The whole collection has this rose gold packaging, and the outer cartons are this really beautiful reflective rose gold as well. And these lipsticks have a cool little sticker on top that has this symbol that's sort of the logo of this Petal Metal collection. It's this very cool like rose inside of lips. I think that both of the shades I picked up are really pretty. They have a great pigmentation impact on first swipe. They're very thin and very lightweight, so when I first swatched them, I didn't think they would be very opaque. I was impressed with the one swipe pigmentation. They completely covered my lips. They felt very lightweight and comfortable. However, as soon as I would press my lips together, the bottom lip would pull all the color off of my top lip. So I'm going to show you a little clip of what I mean. It's just really unfortunate because I think that these shades are super cool. I love the packaging. I think the formula is really comfortable, but they're just completely unwearable for me because the second that my lips touch each other, they start to patch apart and just completely come off the lips. I'm sad to report that. I really wanted to love these, but these are a no-go for me. I can't recommend them. Don't worry, it'll get better from here. Next up, we have the most beautiful highlighters I've seen in a really, really long time. These are the Petal Metal highlighters. This is the outer packaging of the Petal Metal highlighter. This is plastic. It looks like metal, but it's plastic, so it's not super heavy. It has a magnetic closure on this compact. Inside, we have a really nice mirror, and then we have this gorgeous rose printed highlighting powder. Be still my heart. This is so freaking beautiful. I can't even stand it. The Petal Metal highlighters are $39 US each. They contain 10 grams of product or 0.35 ounces. I have 2 shades of the Petal Metal highlighters. First, I used Rosemantic as my blush. This is a very warm, rosy pink shimmer shade. Much, much too deep to be a highlighter on me, although I can imagine it would be a beautiful highlight for deep skin tones, particularly very warm deep skin tones. I've been very into shimmery blush lately, so Rosemantic performed really, really well as a blush for me. Then I used Gilded Rose, which is a more champagne-y gold type of color, as my highlight shade. First, I applied it with my ColourPop small fluff brush. Then to add a little bit more intensity, I took my damp beauty sponge and I dipped that straight into this powder and applied a little bit more on top. And that extra moisture really brought out some shine in this because it is a baked product. So if you have one of these, or if you have another baked highlighter that you're struggling with, try using a damp sponge to apply it because I got a much better result that way. Obviously, these products are insanely gorgeous. They're definitely going to stick around in my collection, mainly as collector's items because they're just so stinking beautiful. But I have to say, surprisingly, I prefer this more pinky shade called Rosemantic over Gilded Rose. I think this one performed better. It performed better as a blush. It showed up a little bit better on my skin tone, and I just felt overall that it was not only easier to use, but more flattering. Lastly, we have this Petal Metal Cover Shot eyeshadow palette. When I first saw pictures of this, I thought it was just kind of meh color-wise, but something about it just made me click add to cart, and I'm really glad that I did. This palette retails for $29 US. The lid does have a magnetic closure. It's a very thin plastic lid. It has this cool sort of 3D cover art. There is a little mirror inside, and there are 8 eyeshadow shades. 2 are mattes, the rest are very metallic shimmers. Before we get to the eyeshadow tutorial using this palette, I do want to show you some swatches. I'm going to do both finger and brush swatches on the back of my hand. No primer down first. The finger swatches will be on top, and then the brush swatches will be below. For my brush swatches, I'm going to be using my e.l.f. flat eyeshadow brush, and then I'll clean off in between each shade using my Vera Mona color switch. Here is the first round of swatches from the Petal Metal Cover Shot palette. On top of the finger swatches and below are the brush swatches. This first shade is called Fresh Stem. It's a gold to pink, shifty, very metallic shade. Next, we have this warm rosy tan color. This is one of the 2 mattes in the palette, and it's called Nude Rose. Then a metallic true rose gold called Rose Quartz. And lastly, this rusty reddish rose metallic shade called Floral Support. These brush swatches are done with a dry brush, but if you apply these with a damp brush, they're even more metallic than the finger swatches. Very impressed with these. Here's the other half of the palette. First, we have this opalescent pale pink called Opal Rose. Next, we have this kind of champagne-y taupe color called Rose Rocked. Then this warm, medium rose gold shade called XO Vlada. And lastly, the other matte in the palette. This one's called Coffee Blossom, and it's a dark neutral brown. And as you can see from the swatches, this is the patchiest shade in the palette and the one that I had the most difficulty working with. Now that you've seen all the swatches, let's jump into the tutorial, and then I'll wrap up all my thoughts at the end.
I'm gonna start off, just like always, using my favorite eye base. It's the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. Then to set that eye base, I'm going to use a little bit of my NYX HD finishing powder, since there's no light matte shade in this palette. Now going into the Petal Metal palette, I'm using the shade Nude Rose in my crease as my transition shade. I'm building this shade up just using a fluffy blending brush, and I'm focusing more of the color on the outer part of my eye. Then to add a little bit of depth, I'm going into the shade Coffee Blossom. This is the only other matte from the palette. And using a small fluffy brush, I'm building that up on the outer part of the eye, and I just could not get this to blend. Not with a brush, not with my finger. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it's just really patchy. So I went back in with my brush that I added my crease color with, and I just really worked that shade in. But it doesn't matter, we're going to cover it up anyway. I'm going with the shade XO Vlada, which is a very pigmented metallic shade. Just applying that to the outer part of my eye using my fingertip, and you can see it has so much impact. Next, for the inner part of my eye, I use the shade Rose Rocked, and again I just applied that with my fingertip. Now I'm using the shade Nude Rose, and I'm just swiping that right along my lower lash line and making sure that that shade connects to the eyeshadow on the upper lid. Lastly, for my inner corner highlight, I'm using the shade Opal Rose, and I'm just building that all around the inner part of my eye with a small detail brush. Then I curled my eyelashes and added some of my favorite L'Oreal Lash Paradise mascara, and that's my finished look. I love how metallic, smoky, sultry, yet super easy this look is.
Overall, I'd say I'm pretty divided on how I feel about this collection. Some of the items really didn't work for me, and some I really love. The Always On metallic matte lips are a complete no-go for me. I really did not enjoy these. They didn't perform well for me. I'm sad to say because they look really beautiful. They just didn't work out well for me at all. The highlighters are obviously So gorgeous. I'll definitely be keeping these. I thought that I would like the lighter one more, Gilded Rose, just because I am very fair and I thought that one would work better for me. But I think Rose Mantic really works better on my complexion as a blush. It would also be a beautiful blush topper. So I like both. I'm definitely keeping both. But if I had to choose just one, I think I would choose Rose Mantic over Gilded Rose. Last but not least, the eyeshadow palette actually was probably my favorite product performance-wise, and I almost didn't order this, so I'm really glad that I did because I'm very pleased with these eyeshadows. The only exception being this dark brown matte shade. I had trouble blending it. It just applied very patchy on my lid. I was able to make it work. I'm just surprised because the other matte in the palette, this warm medium brown shade, performed really well. All of the powders feel very smooth to the touch, and this lighter matte shade blended so beautifully on the eye. So I'm surprised that this dark brown matte just didn't really work for me, but all of the shimmers are gorgeous, super metallic. I love a really shiny, shimmery eye look, so this is just a dream palette for me. I wish that this matte was easier to blend, but overall, I was really able to make an eye look that I'm very happy with. I do think that some of these shades look pretty similar. You can tell from the swatches, they're all in this rose gold, brassy kind of family. I'm totally fine with it because I love those shades, but that is something that I wanted to bring up for you to consider. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this collection. Are any of these items on your wish list? Have you tried them? Leave a comment and let us know what you think. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Collaboration. Yikes. Every time. Act 0.35 ounces. Many surprises in this collection. Meh. This palette, let's get these swatches on. Get your swatch on. Huh? Say something useful anytime now. Oh, huh? I'm fine. It's fine. Doing great. Ease it. Petal metal. Blah 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 blah. Pebble mebble. Dang it. What? Adorable. Was that so hard? Kinda was.